If you're doing keto and you finish a workout, the hunger can feel weirdly intense, almost urgent. And it's confusing because you might think fat adapted means you should be steady all day. What's usually happening is not low willpower. It's your body trying to replace what training just used up, while your appetite signals are temporarily amplified. Exercise can raise stress hormones, shift blood sugar regulation, and increase the drive for salt and fluid. On keto, those signals can stack up because you're also managing lower insulin and often lower glycogen. The result is a post-workout window where you can either feel calm and satisfied, or you can spiral into snack mode. The good news is you can plan for it. You can eat in a way that supports recovery, keeps ketosis intact if that's your goal, and still feels genuinely filling. Let's break down why the hunger hits and exactly how to build a post-workout meal that works on keto. Moving to slide 2. First, separate two things that feel the same: true energy hunger and recovery hunger. Energy hunger is your brain asking for fuel. Recovery hunger is your body asking for building materials and minerals after stress. A workout is controlled stress. You create tiny muscle damage, you burn through stored fuel, and you lose water and sodium in sweat. After that, your body turns up signals that push you to eat and drink. On keto, you're often running with lower glycogen, meaning less buffer for hard efforts. So the body can interpret the session as more costly, even if the workout wasn't extreme. That can make hunger feel sharper. Also, many people undereat protein on keto, especially if they're focused on fat grams. If protein is low, the body keeps asking for food because it's still missing what it needs to repair. So the first fix is understanding what type of hunger you're feeling, because the solution is different. Moving to slide 3. Now let's talk about glycogen, because it's the hidden driver of post-workout hunger. Glycogen is stored carbohydrate in muscle and liver. Even on keto, you still have glycogen. You just tend to carry less of it, and you refill it more slowly, unless you include some carbs. During higher intensity work, intervals, heavy lifting, fast circuits, you use more glycogen. When glycogen drops, your body often increases appetite. It's a protective signal, not a moral failure. On keto, that signal can feel louder because the body knows carbs are scarce, so it pushes harder for overall intake. This is also why some people feel ravenous after leg day, but not after an easy walk. The intensity matters. The practical takeaway is simple. The harder the session, the more you should plan a real meal afterward, not just coffee and a handful of nuts. Moving to slide 4. Another big reason keto hunger hits after workouts is electrolytes, especially sodium. When insulin is lower, the kidneys tend to excrete more sodium. Add sweating on top, and it's easy to end up low. The tricky part is that low sodium doesn't always feel like "I want salt." It can feel like cravings, headache, fatigue, or a hollow hunger that doesn't go away even after you eat. You might keep snacking, but the signal you needed was actually salt and fluid. Potassium and magnesium matter too, but sodium is usually the fastest lever after training. A simple approach is to have a salty drink after your workout, or build your post-workout meal around a salty protein. Think broth, salted eggs, or meat with a generous pinch of salt. If that reduces the urgency to snack, you've learned something important about your personal hunger pattern on keto. Moving to slide 5. Let's add hormones to the picture, because workouts change your appetite chemistry. Intense training can raise adrenaline and cortisol. Right after the session, you might feel not hungry at all. Then, as those hormones drop, hunger rebounds hard. That delayed hunger is common on keto because your baseline blood sugar is often steadier, so the contrast feels dramatic when appetite finally turns on. Another hormone is ghrelin, which increases hunger, and it can rise if you trained fasted or if you didn't sleep well. Then there's leptin, which signals fullness over the long term, and it can be less effective when you're in a big calorie deficit. So if you're doing keto plus hard training plus aggressive cutting, post-workout hunger is almost predictable. The fix isn't to fight it. The fix is to structure your day so the rebound hunger lands on a planned meal. Moving to slide 6. Here's the most common mistake: going too low on protein after workouts because you're trying to stay high fat. Keto is low carb, not low protein. Protein is the recovery macro. It provides amino acids to repair muscle, and supports satiety better than pure fat for many people. If your post-workout meal is mostly fat, like butter coffee, cheese snacks, or fat bombs, you can hit calories without hitting the recovery target. Then hunger comes back quickly, and it feels like keto isn't working. A practical range many active keto people use is roughly 25 to 40 grams of protein in the meal after training, depending on body size and the session. You don't need perfection. You need a clear protein anchor. Start with 1.5 palms to 2 palms of meat, fish or eggs, or a protein shake if whole food isn't convenient. Then add fat for satisfaction, not as the main event. Moving to slide 7. So what should a keto post-workout plate actually look like? Think in 3 parts: protein, fluids and salt, and then a controlled amount of fat. Start with protein first, because it's the easiest way to stop the bottomless feeling. Next, include water and sodium, either as a drink or in the meal. Then add fat, but keep it reasonable. Too much added fat right after training can slow digestion and make you feel heavy, and it can also overshoot your calories fast. For vegetables, choose low-carb options that you digest well, like zucchini, spinach, cucumber, or leafy greens. They add volume and potassium without pushing carbs high. If you're someone who gets shaky or gets intense cravings after hard sessions, you might also experiment with a small amount of targeted carbs, like berries or a small portion of squash, and see how your body responds. Keto has room for personalization. Moving to slide 8. Timing matters, but it's not magic. The main goal is to avoid letting post-workout hunger drift into a chaotic evening. If you train and then wait 3 or 4 hours to eat, you're more likely to overdo it later, especially on keto, where salty, fatty foods are easy to inhale. A simple rule is to eat within about 1 to 2 hours after training, sooner if the session was intense or you trained fasted. If a full meal isn't possible, do a bridge snack, something protein-forward with salt. For example, a protein shake with a pinch of salt, or a couple of hard-boiled eggs with salted broth. Then eat a normal meal later. This approach keeps your appetite from spiking, and it supports recovery without forcing you to eat a huge plate when you're not ready. Consistency beats perfect timing, especially if you train several times per week. Moving to slide 9. Let's make this practical with a few post-workout meal templates that fit keto. Template 1 is eggs and greens. 3 to 4 eggs, sautéed spinach, and a salty side like olives or broth. Template 2 is meat and crunch. Ground beef or chicken, cucumber and leafy greens, olive oil, and plenty of salt. Template 3 is fish and creamy. Salmon or sardines with a simple mayo-based dressing, plus zucchini or asparagus. If you need speed, template 4 is shake plus real food. A whey or isolate shake, then a small plate like cheese and pickles, or leftover meat. The point is not the exact foods. The point is the structure. Protein anchor, salt and fluids, then fat and fiber for satisfaction. If you follow that structure, you'll usually notice that the urgent hunger fades, and you can stop eating because you actually feel done, not because you ran out of snacks. Moving to slide 10. If you're trying to lose fat, post-workout eating can feel like a trap because you're hungry and you're also watching calories. The key is to avoid the two extremes. Extreme 1 is undereating after training, which often leads to nighttime snacking and worse sleep. Extreme 2 is treating the workout like a license to eat unlimited fat, which can stall progress. A balanced approach is to set a protein minimum, then decide your fat based on your goal. If fat loss is the priority, keep added fats modest and let the meal be a little leaner while still keto. If performance and muscle retention are the priority, you can include more total calories and still stay low carb. Also, remember that appetite can be a delayed signal. If you consistently get very hungry on rest days, it may be because you didn't recover well on training days. So think in weekly patterns, not just one meal. Moving to slide 11. Let's cover cravings, because many people say, "I'm not hungry, I just want something." After workouts, that something is often salty and crunchy or sweet. On keto, sweet cravings can show up if you trained hard and your body is looking for quick energy. Salty cravings can show up if you're low on sodium. The first move is to test the basics. Drink water, add salt, and eat protein. Then wait 10 minutes. If the craving drops, it was probably recovery signaling. not true dessert hunger. If it doesn't drop, look at sleep and stress. Poor sleep increases appetite and reduces impulse control, and training can magnify that effect. Also check your caffeine timing. If you use a lot of caffeine pre-workout and then crash, the crash can feel like hunger. A smart strategy is to keep crunch available in keto form, like cucumber, pickles, or toasted seaweed, so you satisfy the sensory urge without turning it into a binge. Moving to slide 12. Different workouts create different keto hunger patterns, so match the meal to the training. For strength training, prioritize protein and enough total calories to recover, because muscle repair is the main demand. For long, steady cardio, fluids and electrolytes can be the biggest lever because the session is often more about sweat and volume. For high-intensity intervals, hunger can be delayed and then hit hard, so the bridge snack strategy works well. Also consider training time. If you train in the morning, a solid breakfast-style meal can prevent an afternoon crash. If you train after work, you want dinner to be structured because that's the easiest time to overeat. One more nuance. If you're new to keto, workouts can feel harder at first, and appetite can be unpredictable. As adaptation improves, many people find hunger becomes more stable, but the meal structure still matters, especially when intensity goes up. Moving to slide 13. Now let's talk about the two big pitfalls that make post-workout keto hunger worse: keto treats and liquid calories. Keto treats are easy to justify after training, but they're often engineered to be hyper-palatable. Even if the carbs are low, the combination of sweet taste and high fat can keep you reaching for more. Liquid calories are similar. A heavy cream drink or a fat-heavy smoothie can slide down fast, but it may not trigger fullness the same way as chewing real food. If you want a shake, make it protein-forward, not fat-forward. Then pair it with something you chew, even if it's small, like salted cucumber slices or a few bites of leftover meat. Another pitfall is protein plus nothing else. If you eat very lean protein with no salt and no volume, you might still feel unsatisfied. That's why the three-part structure works: protein, salt, and fluids, then enough fat and fiber to feel settled. Moving to slide 14. Let's put it all together into a simple decision tree you can use right after training. Step 1. Are you thirsty, crampy, or getting a headache? If yes, start with water and sodium. Step 2. Do you feel empty or like you could eat non-stop? If yes, prioritize protein, around 25 to 40 grams, and include salt. Step 3. Are you still restless after eating? Add volume from low-carb vegetables and a moderate amount of fat for satisfaction. Step 4. If you trained very hard and you repeatedly get cravings later, consider a small targeted carb portion and see if it improves recovery without knocking you off track. Keep it consistent for a week before judging. And finally, track outcomes that matter: how you sleep, how sore you feel, and whether you're calm around food in the evening. Keto should feel stable. If workouts make it chaotic, it's usually a recovery and planning issue, not a character flaw. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and comment with your experience. After workouts on keto, do you get more cravings for salty foods or sweet foods? This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Ketosis is a tool. Metabolic flexibility is the goal.